All right, everyone, welcome to the new administrators webinar with an introduction to Member365. My name is Joel Bayless, and I'll be taking you through the new admin webinar. I'm a customer success coach with Member365, so many of you may know me. We may have interacted. If we haven't, then nice to meet you. I'm all about seeking potential and making it a reality. So with that in mind, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, just put them in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen there, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. With the nature of this webinar, I'll probably leave most of those Q&A questions to the end of the webinar, where we'll have lots of time to go over any questions that you have, but I will try to keep my eye on them as we go and answer them if it makes sense to answer them in the middle of the webinar. This webinar will be recorded, just like the rest of our webinars, and put on our YouTube channel. So if you miss anything and you want to go back and see it, you'll be able to do that on the YouTube channel. All right. So what we will cover today is navigating the dashboard, adding new contacts in organizations, managing those contacts and organization profiles, understanding contact tags, demographics, and organization demographics, how they're similar and how they're different, when you might want to impersonate a contact and how you would do that. And then we'll talk about some membership statistics and reports, manage and create invoices, and talk about the difference between the member portal and non-member portal. And then, of course, at the end, we'll leave lots of time for questions for anything particular. So let's jump into Member365 here. Pull it up. All right. So we are looking at the admin portal here, where I'm sure you're all familiar with. The most important thing here to navigate through Member365 or through the admin portal is that navigation bar across the top. This is where you'll get into the contacts, organizations, and all the different modules here. We won't cover all the modules today because to do so would just take way too long, and there are individual webinars for each of those. But if you have any questions about any of them specifically, just let me know. So you've got your admin alerts here. This will be any important things like job posts pending review or any applications pending review, anything that kind of requires immediate attention. There's also this help center here. So if there's any time that you're ever lost or you have any questions, you can go to our YouTube channel directly through here. You can access our knowledge base. This will have text, and we're starting to get videos put right into the knowledge base to walk you through different components within the software. And then you can always submit a ticket. So I'm going to open this in an incognito window because I am logged in to Zendesk, our ticketing system, just to show you what happens when you submit a ticket. So you'll put in your email address and some information as well as the question that you have, and then you submit it, and someone from our customer success team will get back to you within a couple hours just saying we've received it and let you know how long it should take for us to resolve the issue. All right. So let's start with the contact. So if we want to add a new contact, we're going to come over to contacts and create a contact, and then we can put all of the information for the contact into here, including the organization. If the organization already exists, we can select it from there, or we can add a brand new organization, just the name right here, and then we'll have an organization profile that we can fill out after that. I'll show you that in a minute. So you fill out all the information, and I'm not going to go through this whole process just because it is relatively straightforward in terms of inputting information. And I don't want to waste your time with typing it all out. What I will show you, though, is if we were to enter all the information for someone named Fred Rogers, for example, we're able to find him by coming and searching in this top box here. Once we find his name, click on it, and that will bring us to the contact profile. So now looking at Fred, we can see all of his basic information as well as the summary for the membership. So if they have multiple memberships, we'll be able to click through the tabs to see those memberships. If there's just one, of course, there'll just be the one tab. Got your communication and file logs. Calls, you'll be able to log here. Any emails that are coming out through the system or e-marketing will automatically be put here. Any notes on file or any files that you want stored directly with Fred can be stored here. Continuing down on the right side is the tags. So you have we have human resource. So you can have any tags that kind of make sense for your organization. And they are what I like to call unilinear. They're not going to be super robust, but you can do a lot with them. So you can add people that are tagged a certain way to a workspace or to an email list or give them access to an event directly because of the tag. But if you do have more robust tagging, for example, we've got a volunteer profile, you're going to want to use the contact demographic. So you can set up this form the way that works best, again, for your organization. Can have radio buttons, check all that apply, can have text input. And then again, just like the tags, you're going to be able to filter based on how this form is filled out. So I could pull a list of everyone that is interested in volunteering in food and beverage at the annual conference, for example, and Fred and anyone else that has filled out this form this way is going to show up on that list. So jumping back to the contact details, just take a quick look at the engagement score. So this is just going to show you how engaged the contact is with your organization or with the software. And then again, we can use the list builder to say people with a high engagement score, we want to ask feedback questions. People with a low engagement score, we want to target to make sure they're not at a risk for churn or something like that. And then directly from the contact profile, we can also view the organization profile. It's going to look look very similar. Now we're looking at Neighborhood Inc., which is the organization for Fred. We can see the contact information, basic information there. We'll see the membership information here if it is a group membership. So we can see Fred is the primary account holder and any of the other kind of key people in that organization. We can also see the related contacts. So these are going to be anyone that is related to the organization in any way. They may not necessarily be employees. They may not have a membership account under Neighborhood Inc., but they'll still show up as related. If they do have a membership under Neighborhood Inc., they're going to show up in this employee accounts list here. Jump back to the main organization tab. Just to continue, you've got notes and calls for the organization, tags for the organization. So if it's more related to the organization as a whole than an individual, you would put it with the organization. Same thing with the organization demographics, and then related contacts. So that's going to be the same as this related contacts. It's just a shortcut here, and then related organizations. So this is going to show you if some organizations are parents or sibling organizations, they'll be seen here. Now, if we wanted to add an organization, we can go to organizations, create organization. And then just much like the contact, you're going to put in the basic information, any information that you want to include on file, and then click save when you're done. You always want to make sure you're clicking save to save the changes, whether it's creating something or making a new event or making an edit to an event or that kind of thing. If we want to view the organization, so once we've created it, it's going to show up on this list and we can find them using the search function if we need to. And same thing with contacts. So we can view contacts and find them in here if we didn't want to go directly through here. Now, the next thing we will look at is impersonating a contact. So if we go back to Fred, let's search him this way this time. Go back to Fred's profile, and you'll see that I am currently logged in as myself. If I click on My Account there, I can see who I'm logged in as. If I impersonate Fred, it's going to log me into the member portal as Fred. So we might want to do this if Fred is having any trouble in the member portal, or he's having trouble accessing something, or he's saying that he's not seeing something that he should be, and we want to check out what it looks like for him in the member portal. We can impersonate him, and it's going to log us out of the member portal or log us out as we are currently logged in and log us in as Fred. So we want to make sure that we don't have any other tabs open, because if we do, then we're logged into Member365 on the same computer with two different people, and information can start to get a little bit crossed. So just make sure you close any other tabs when you're impersonating someone, and then we'll hit continue. And this will bring us into the member portal as Fred. So we can see in the top here, we are logged in as Fred. And now we can see the member portal experience that he's having. You can see what that welcome message looked like, all the badges. You can see any of the shortcuts that we've set up and just make sure that he's able to see what we're expecting him to be able to see. One of the main reasons we see people impersonate is if an event is ongoing and someone wants to withdraw or they want a refund, we can come in and do that for them. We could also direct them to do this, but sometimes it's just easier to come in, click on my event registrations, and I don't think Fred is actually currently registered for an event. I'm not sure what's happening here. Sorry about this. I believe this is my computer not being happy. I'm stuck. Just bear with me 1 minute. Okay, I think we're back. Sorry about that. So we can come to events, my event registrations. If Fred is registered for an event, then it will show up here. So he isn't currently, but we would see the event that he's registered for and we'd see a withdraw modify button. We could click on that and withdraw him ourselves. As we do that and go through the whole withdrawal process, he will automatically be refunded at the end of that. We can see what he has withdrawn from in the past, whether that was him doing it or me doing it on his behalf, and any events that he has actually attended will show up there as well. Now there is both, I'm going to go back to the homepage of the member portal here. There is both a member experience in the portal and a non-member experience. So you can set these up to be quite different so people have, different access based on whether they're a member or not. And actually this logged me in as Joel. So when my computer froze there, we had a little bit of a glitch, but that's okay. I'll be able to get back to the admin portal in a second. But as I was saying here, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. There is a non-member portal experience. So they may not have access to stuff like the member benefits or the directory or the store, for example. You want them to be able to log in so that they can change their event registration or that sort of thing. They might have a different welcome message because they don't need to do some of this stuff that you want your members to be able to do. But it looks like I'm freezing again. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, I'm going to jump back into the admin portal here just to show you how we can gate some of the access for a non-member. So if that return to CRM button on the top isn't there, you can just type in CRM/home at the end of your URL. And now we are back in the admin portal as Joel, which is what we want. And if we go to configuration and then member portal configuration, click setup, we can change the welcome message for non-members, so it can be different than the welcome message for members. And we can also change the access here. So we just hover over the three buttons, click manage, and now we can really gate what is going to show up in the non-member portal. So there is a difference for members and non-members, even though you still may want to use a portal for non-members to be able to update their own information or their own event registration, that sort of thing. One thing that's really important in Member365 is being able to see the membership statistics. So we come to membership statistics, get a general overview of the statistics in terms of how many members there currently are, how many have lapsed, how many non-members are in the system. We can also see some more reports. Common reports will be there, as well as if we go membership reports, we can see a lot of the reports here. Non-member reports we'll see either in the report side over here, so we could see some email reports, some of our soft deleted contacts if we took some contacts out of the system, but they still haven't been permanently deleted, or reports could be directly in the module. So for example, if we go to forms and form responses, we're going to be able to export a list of all the responses for a particular form. And the last thing I said we would talk about is the invoices. So we can create an invoice from scratch or manage current invoices. And you'll see at the beginning of the invoices are the description of what the invoice is. So this is one that has been created from scratch. This is a fundraising invoice. MR is going to be a membership invoice. ER is going to be an event invoice. job is for a job board. And if we want to just see a certain type of invoice, we can do that. So you're going to see membership is all just the MR invoices. Now, if we want to create an invoice, we're just going to come financial, create invoice, say who the invoice is for. So as you can tell, I like to use Fred as my example. Now we just say what the invoice is for. I'm going to say it was for this webinar, costed one webinar attendance, costed $50. Do we want a tax or do we want no tax? And if we want to add more items, we can do that. I'm going to take that out though. So we've just got the one line item. And then if the payment is ready to be processed now, we can do that, or we can send an email to get the invoice paid. So we send that off. And now when he's ready to pay the invoice, we can come into financial reports, accounts receivable aging, find that invoice we just created. So make sure it is the same one here. It's the one we just made. Perfect. And now we want to mark it as paid. Let's say he paid by check. We put in the check number, any comments that are going to help the accounting team, and then we can continue and send an email that says thanks for paying, or we can just skip the email if we want to do that. So that is how to manage invoices. And now we'll just take a quick look at the best practices and leave lots of time for questions. Best practice number one is to use the knowledge base, trying to find the answers for yourself before asking. This act of trying to find the answers is going to help you, A, navigate without assistance, but B, remember the answers a lot better. If you're just being fed the answers, you're not going to be troubleshooting yourself. And the more that you're able to troubleshoot by yourself, the quicker you're going to be able to learn the ins and outs. The second thing is to understand your organization's internal processes. For example, you might have an application email an approval email that's being sent out before a welcome email to the membership, or you may not. And just knowing how your organization works is going to help you to navigate Member365. And create documentation for yourself that will help you in the future as well as any future hires. And that will make it easier for any kind of troubleshooting down the line. Submit a ticket. So I showed you how you can submit a ticket there. Don't be afraid to ask us questions. That's what we're here for. We're pretty good at getting back to you pretty quickly, and we're used to questions of all shapes and sizes. Don't feel like any question is a bad one. And then finally, use descriptive naming. So on any of your lists that you're building, or the forms that you're creating, or the events, anything that you are naming, if you can use descriptive naming, it just makes it a lot easier to navigate down the line and remember what form or whatever was for, not only for yourself, but also for your other team members. But that is it from me. So I'm going to see what questions we have. I did see one along the way. So will it ever be possible to tag more than one organization for a contact? Great question. As right now, you can only have one-to-one relationship. I don't know what the plan with development is. Something I can definitely ask the development team. I know no one is actively seeking development of it. So our project, how they are prioritized is if someone is seeking the development and is paying for it, then that is prioritized. And then we are always trying to constantly make the software better and better. But those ones that are not actively being paid for are prioritized second. And I know there's not a project for the one-to-many relationships right now. Is it possible to batch delete soft deleted contacts? You can submit a request to us to do that. If you want them mass deleted, then that's something we can do on the back end. That's actually one of the things in development that we're hoping to make accessible to you. But if export your list of soft deleted contacts and say, can you hard delete all of these, then we can do that. Yeah, no problem. That is all the questions I have right now. So I'm going to just leave some space for a minute or two to see if there are any other questions. And if not, then I'll let you get on with your day. I guess just to fill the space while I'm giving some time for questions, I'm going to jump back into the dashboard here and just wanted to make a note that if you are submitting a ticket or going to the knowledge base, it may ask you to sign in, and you don't have to sign in. All signing in will do is allow you to see your submitted tickets, or if there is stuff for Member365 clients only in the knowledge base, signing in will allow you to see that. There's most of our knowledge base is completely public. It's not really gated that way, but if you want to sign in, the sign in is going to be different than your Member365 sign in. So that's a common question we get is, why can't I sign in with my Member365 information? It's because they're separate accounts. You can save the password to your computer and then it'll automatically log you in, but it will be a different login than your Member365. And I saw some more questions come in here. Is there a way to find out what percentage of the membership is registered for auto renewal of membership fees? Yeah, let me see. Off the top of my head, I do know we have some reports for ARB. Let's see if it gets us the information we want. So I don't think we're going to be able to get a percentage of the membership exactly, but what we could do is export this report to Excel and then do some further data manipulation there, comparing the numbers here to your total membership. But yeah, there's not a report, as far as I'm aware, to get an exact number of how many people are signed up. I will note that question and send a follow-up as well, even if it's just confirming what I just said, or if I'm correcting myself, I'll let you know. How long until the YouTube playback? Great question. A couple days max, hopefully quicker, but it just depends on what everyone on the team, what kind of time everyone has. I know my afternoon is pretty booked, but there might be some other team members that have some time to upload it for me. All right. That is the end of the questions. And oh, I got one more just in time. Just get back to this presenter mode. Do event reminders just get sent to those registered? Depends on how you set up the reminders. Within the events, there are event reminders, and those are going to be sent to, I believe, everyone. Let me get back in. Yeah, that's actually a good question. I very rarely use this event reminder, so I'll get you an answer for this. But what I recommend doing is creating a list, or creating two lists actually. One is going to be people who have registered for an event. One is going to be people who have not registered. So obviously at first, everyone is going to be on that people who have not registered for the event. And that's going to be your typical marketing of the event. Please register for this event. This is the value you're going to get from it, that sort of thing. And then the second the second list is going to be people who have registered for the event. So if I come in to events and people who have registered but not yet attended to this specific event. Now, as people register for this event, they are going to be moved to this list and they're going to get all the communication that is specifically for people who have already registered. So you don't have to manually send emails to one group or the other. They're going to be on the list that corresponds to their event registration status. Yeah. So the next question was, when an event reminder is added to an event, do we know when the reminder is sent? You can only choose days, not times. That is right. You cannot choose times. It will happen with the nightly tasks. Usually those are pretty early in the morning, like 3, 4 a.m. is usually the timestamps that I'm seeing. Yeah, you're picking the day, but you're not picking the time. That's right. Thanks for asking that question. All right. If there are no other questions, then I'll thank you for your time today. I really appreciate being able to spend the time with you to go through Member365 on a high level. And if you have any outstanding questions, feel free to submit a ticket and we'll be happy to answer as best we can. Have a great day, everyone.